Hi Jennifer, welcome back. I'm just actually getting onto stream right now, so perfect timing. All right, so we've got all of the Kato that we're going to have for tomorrow in the white top stitch. So what we're going to go into now is the dark top stitching. Then we will glue on all of the logos, and then we're going to finish the cake cozies while that's drying. And then if we've got enough time before bed, I will also try to get some of the drawstrings put into the bags tonight. We're not going to talk about the fact that I should probably tag everything, but you know what? That's going to probably be future Katie's problem. All right, so I am actually going to, since there's so few of the darkest ones that we're going to top stitch, I'm going to go in and just trim down the threads because, why not? And then I forgot, but I actually need to swap the thread as well. So I should have done that before I came on stream, but here we are. Went and got the kiddo. Traffic was insane because of course it's Friday night and there's a big like interchange construction project happening between us and the school that they go to. And so it's like they're still running trucks when I go to pick them up usually. And that's what was happening tonight. Was on the way home, they were still running trucks. And so it's like it backs up the traffic really bad actually. Still nowhere near as bad as it was before they even put in the temporary traffic circle, but not as fun as it was last summer or even earlier this year when it was only like a 10-minute commute. It's gone up to like a half-hour commute again. So it's like, damn it. Not much they can do, obviously, but it is kind of annoying. It's like you rerouted most of the road. Couldn't you have like rerouted it around where your construction traffic had to go or something? I guess that might have been like too much extra materials or something. I don't know. I think they have gotten a talking to though, because like the amount of delays has definitely decreased since when they first started doing the across the highway hauling. So that's always good. All right, let's see how many we do actually have. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, okay, we have 13. I thought there was less, but that's okay. Let's get the thread swapped before I forget. Start stitching on the black fabric with white thread. I would be disappointed in myself. All right. Go. And so I don't need to leave until about 10 tomorrow. The kids will probably have us up around 7 at the latest. I think Dallas is heading out around 8. Or has to be out of the house before 8. So we'll have time to pull apart and pack the Jeep. A lot of time to pull apart and pack the Jeep tomorrow. And quite a bit of time to like, if I need to do drawstrings, and maybe that's actually when I'll do the tagging. Just write down how many of each tag I need or something tonight. I actually need to find the boxes of the business cards I use for the tags. That might be helpful and useful. Yeah, no. And then, yeah. Okay. Go. Pull the bobbin, and we'll swap the bobbin here as well. I think these are both full. From what I remember, they're both full. And then what else is got to be done tonight? There's not much else to do tonight besides the top stitching and the cake cozies. For sewing, at least, so. And that one's still winding white thread, so we won't put black thread on the bobbin yet. We don't need it anyway because the bobbins are full. There's a bunch of fluff in there. That shouldn't be in there. Saying goodnight to the kids because Dallas is going to do their bedtime tonight so I can do this work. And said goodnight to my youngest. I was like, have a good night. And they were like, have a good night. I'm like, pretty. I love the fact that I do have a work from home job and hate it at the same time some days. Well, it's tough to do with the kids around, so it's like most of it does typically happen when they're at school at least, so. Alrighty, let's get this done. Actually, no. Having a work from home job or self-employed job is still really nice, especially at this like season of our lives. So turning my sewing machine on would be helpful. Okay, and I also have to remember that I need to pack the, oh right, I was doing these from the exterior to the interior, so I will do that after this. It's okay, at least this time. It'll be fine. We are still at a top stitch length. Good job checking that before I start. Subconsciously, I knew it was still on top stitch length, 'cause that's what we've been doing all afternoon. All right, given that this was work that was also supposed to be done over 2 days, I am quite impressed that I was able to get it done in how much I've gotten done in 1 day. Unknown error. Streaming to platform is temporarily not available. Confirm streaming approval and output settings. Oh, okay. So that's why Twitch isn't working. It's like, it's not streaming right from this. Okay, interesting. Well, that is something that I will have to deal with later. Threads, trim down these threads, and there is the koi ready to go, except, well, so now it needs the drawstring and the logo, and then it's ready to go. It's like I always forget those last couple steps, block them out of my mind. It's like, you're done sewing. No, you're not. Well, yeah, I'm done sewing. I'm not done the bag. There we go. That's the difference. There's still finishing steps to do. You're done sewing. Yay. It's just that, like, for the longest time, once I did the finishing seams on bags, they were done, right? Because, like, with the small box bag and the large box bag, their tags go in the bag. So as soon as you turn them and do the closing seam, you're done. With these, there's still a couple, like, there's additional steps. So I think that's part of it, is that it's like, even though I've been making these bags for 2 years, it's like, it's still not quite cemented in the routine yet. They always seem to throw me for a loop for what extra work they need done after, like, I'm technically done sewing them. Every single time. You're done. Haha, sucker, you're not. Oh my goodness. And what is going on here now? The thread has split or something. All right. I did change my needle earlier today, so that shouldn't be the issue. I swear though, every time I start black thread, something goes awry. Usually it's the bobbin, but apparently it's the top thread tonight, because, you know, gotta keep it fresh or something. Okay. Maybe I just misthreaded it. Let's hope that's all it was. Now the question is did this top stitch correctly, or do we need to go back in and do it? No, it looks like it was just at the very end here that it started to get messy, so we should be okay. We're good. And i.e., when I say it gets messy, it's like right over top where the beginning of the top stitching started, so we're good. All right, so there is the fans done. And I'll get, well, it's done sewing, but we'll get, so the logo goes on and then it'll be black drawstrings on this one because it's all black leather on all that. Let's actually start this on the leader and see if that helps. Maybe that will sort out any issues. The only issue being that like it is kind of difficult to start it on the leader because you can't really chain piece top stitching. But it always seems like it just almost takes like a warm-up period for the black thread and then it's fine. Sometimes it does take resetting the threading, sometimes it does take resetting the bobbin, but then usually it runs fine. So the fact that we've already like at least rethreaded the needle should count in our favor, I hope. I guess we'll find out. A better run. So I'm not going to do the leader ender this time because like I said, it's kind of hard to chain piece off, like to chain piece top stitching off of it. So we'll just not worry about it this time, but it does seem like it probably helped figure out whatever issues there were to begin with. So this is a dusty kind of like lavender charcoal with the strawberries on top of it. It does provide a really cool contrast. It's about right on my end, maybe a little bit washed out color-wise. All right, 2 out of 13. 3 out of 13 done, so 10 more, just 10 more. And then we can glue on the logos. And then while the logos are drying, we will sew the black thread cake cozies. And then once those are done and dusted, we can wrap up with the drawstrings for the Kato. Because I don't see it taking more than a couple hours to get all of this to that point. If it's only going to take me until about 10:30 to get these all drawstring tonight, I will take it and run with it. Because then all that I would need to do tomorrow is tag things, which would be good. Make sure I snip all these extra threads as we find them so I don't have to deal with them at the show either. Excuse me, or at least there'll be less to deal with at the show, hopefully. They always seem to like pop up in the most inconvenient times, mostly when you're standing around talking to a customer and it's like, oh, there's a thread there, or oh, there's a little love from Flynn there. Like, no. Especially on the black bags. I don't know why, but it's like Yeah. Well, you know why is because light cat hair is always attracted to darker things, right? So, and Flynn is an orange cat. Okay, there we go. So this is the carousel horses in the snow globes, along with the teddy bears in the snow globes. I adore it. It's super cute. I do have a pink version of this as well, and they're both like whimsical in their own way. I can definitely see some people enjoying this more than the other one. I don't know. But I like this. I like them both equally, I think. Uh-oh. Okay, so the thread broke now. Yay. Okay, that is still all threaded correctly, so we'll just pull this up from underneath like this. There we go. And then we'll stitchy, stitchy, stitch it here. Okay, happier that time. Who knows? Okay, and then trim down this one here on the interior. And flippy flip. And a snip, snip. Then also this there. Good, okay. We're good. Except for the thread that's still in the bag. It's trimmed, but it fell into the bag. Or got picked up by it while I was turning it. Who knows? So there we go. Oop. That needs to be clipped as well. There we go. Sweet. There we go. Good to go. Next is butterflies. And this is the Dobby fabric, so it's got a slubby warp and weft, giving like a fairly lightweight fabric, a really interesting like weight, and like, so it's lightweight, but it feels heavier than it is because of the texture on the fabric. There we go. And get all these extra little like edge threads out before I stitch over them, because it's always easier now than later once they're even more cemented into the bag, that's for sure. All right. here as well, and then looks like there's some loopy looping that needs to be trimmed up here for some reason. There we go. Okay, cool. Butterflies ready. Cranes. I love the background color of this, and then the color of the peonies on it actually as well. Always makes me super happy. Sorry, just checking with dots because it sounded like there was a little bit of a protest, and I can't tell if it was like annoyance or like just annoyance with bedtime or what. Okay, yeah, just annoyance. That's bedtime. There's just a great big howl from upstairs. So this one's really cool too because it doesn't have a slubby warp and weft, but it has a slubby weft or like raised weft. I don't know how to describe it, but it's like the texture is only on the weft. So it's really nice. It's very interesting. Super cool color. Love the cranes. A lot of the detailing is like outlined in the shimmery gold that Japan is so good at. It's just such a good fabric. And I'm really glad this cut worked out for Kato, because I didn't know due to the scale of the pattern if it was going to work for Kato or not. So sometimes we luck out. And honestly, I feel like I couldn't have done better if I'd like fussy cut this. So even if I'd fussy cut this, actually, is what I mean by that. It's like there's one crane here that's practically in the middle. Got another crane kind of swooping on the side here. And on the other side, you got like almost 3 full cranes. 1 full crane for sure, and then a lot of the floral pattern as well, which is really nice. So chrysanthemums, peonies, and sakura all in one bag because, hey, why not? They don't bloom at the same time at all, but why not? I love it. At least in Japan. I don't know about elsewhere. This one's kind of like a windows on Japanese gardens because all the patterns or all the, I call it windows on Japanese gardens because it's kind of like a really dark background. And then each of these little printed areas is like filled with Japanese foliage or flowers or like the stylized pine boughs and stuff like that. Yeah. And I'm calling it windows onto it because it's just like, it's not the full pattern, but it's the, just these little like peeks into it. So it's super cool. Go. So I guess we're back to like going back to shorter days already, which is insane. Can't believe it. That's it. And that's why I call it like the windows, because it's like, so this is like, it looks like maybe like currants or grapes along with leaves. And then these are like the stylized pine boughs. I guess you could also call it like windows on traditional Japanese motifs, but I prefer the Japanese gardens because it's all garden motifs. All right, the neon floral storm is next, along with some trimming up for the pockets that I missed earlier, apparently. And a hair from me, not from the cat, shockingly. Okay. Just puff it in here. And if you're like, Katie, why aren't you sewing this like you normally do from interior to exterior? It was fighting me earlier. So we are sewing them from the exterior to the interior because I found that the bobbin thread wasn't too happy about being on the exterior today. And so far, it has been far happier about being on the interior. And I'm just like, I give up. I'm not going to fight it. We will work with how the machine wants to work because I do not need it fighting back right now. I just need it sewing. And so far, knock on wood, everything has gone very smoothly. Again, given that I was supposed to do this work over 2 days instead of 1, it has gone extremely smoothly. And only one bag has had to go into full timeout. And that's because I actually have to rip out the handle again, or the handle placement, because last time it slipped and didn't go into the bag. And this time I didn't place it in the right spot in regards to the drawstring channel. So it's on the inside of the drawstring channel instead of on the outside. So now I've got to go in and rip it out and sew it back in. And I just do not have the time for that right now. So it'll go into timeout for the Stampede breakfast on the 13th. It is staying on my desk waiting though. I won't leave it too long, but holy. And on top of it, it's a super cute one. It's like, man, why do some of these fabrics fight me so hard? Some days. 2, 3, 4 more. This one's really cool. It's like floral motifs along with cranes that have floral motifs and kind of like a peachy sand color. It's a really interesting color. I don't know exactly how to describe it, but everything is outlined in gold. It's on a really nice, like, not super dark navy, but definitely navy background. Like, it's not black navy, it's just navy. But yeah, it's like, so there's these chrysanthemums again. Whatever this flower is, I never exactly know, but it does show up in a lot of very traditional motifs. Cosmos or daisies, sakura, more sakura. It's just a really pretty print. And then the cranes here and here. And then these guys, some of them have the like sakura and floral motifs kind of mirrored in them as well. So it's really nice. And like I said, all kind of outlined in that shimmer that, again, Japan is, I don't know how or why, they're just really, really good at it. I guess maybe so many like centuries of practice with their kimono or something. So All right, let's get this here. These are the mini sloths with lemons, because I still haven't like fully decided if they're like tiny lemons or giant, or tiny sloths or giant lemons. So I think we're going with tiny sloths and like normal size lemons. Although thinking of like giant lemon trees is pretty funny. So let me know what you think. I'll show you the fabric here in a second once I get the top stitching done. And this is the third last bag, so we've almost done it. Because worst case scenario, I finish up the drawstrings at the retreat tomorrow. I'm not that worried about it. All right. Trim all the threads down here, and then I'll turn it back out to show you folks. And so if you're just joining me or you haven't heard the spiel before, I'm Katie. This is Telly Nekozuki, and I make bags from Japanese fabrics that I hand select in Kyoto and Tokyo. I go to a couple of very specific shops in Tokyo and Kyoto, and then I also go to one of the chain shops usually, and then I also upcycle kimono and obi that I purchase at temple markets. These are all new fabrics right now, but we'll be getting to more obi and kimono over the summer. So yeah, so I think it's like tiny sloths and like normal size lemons. I don't know. Weigh in and let me know what you think. Should they be giant lemons and regular sloths, or tiny sloths and giant lemons? That is really blowing out because the camera's like, it's black. All right, 2 more to go here. I'm just gonna actually get myself into my, no, I don't wanna go into the creator studio. I wanna go in and see my live stream. Thank you. So I just make sure that I'm not missing anything in chat, because sometimes the chat does not come through into the frickin' streaming channel. So now it's for sure there, just in case. Okay. And there is another thread to trim. So at least I'm not missing any of the like pocket threads by doing this. That's kind of nice. Okay. Hey, got caught on my white mic wire, sorry. Might have made it go staticky. Okay. 2 more, 2 more, 2 more, then we're done. Sewing, Kato. It's just all the other work. Alright, nice, easy sew around on this one. So this one is neon florals on like a charcoal black. It's not quite black, it's not quite charcoal, it's right in between the two. Light black, maybe. There's no other tone difference, so it's not dusty black, but it's like, yeah, not quite black, not quite charcoal, because obviously this is black, and this is black. But this isn't charcoal, I wouldn't. Well, maybe it is. I don't know. It's looking like charcoal on the camera. It doesn't look like charcoal in person, so I don't know what to tell you. But that pink is pretty true to color. It's all kind of very vibrant highlighter pink, white outlines of the flowers. There are 3 colorways of that. There's that one. There's one in the white. That was what the post was on Instagram. So that's with like the sandy outline. And then in the same pink, highlighter pink, you can see that's quite different. And then there is actually the, oh sweet, I can start putting these in the bin. Then there's the light gray with like fluorescent yellow highlighter. And the florals are all outlined in white. So there's like one for anyone's taste, basically. Along with a few others that also have the neon pops that are like super vibrant. I love them. Also, if you are not down to come down to the crochet retreat tomorrow, Market Spot is having their grand reopening again, kind of celebration because they have moved again, those poor folks. They're back in their original space across from Lens Crafters in Market Mall, and Dallas and I went in yesterday and it looked really good actually. So because they'd been in that space and then they'd moved into the old Disney store space, which was like absolutely amazing for them. But then they got kicked out because Uniqlo moved in, went into a smaller space that it did not work very well for them. And I don't think it worked very well for customers either. It was also very squished, so it's really hard to get the stroller in there. Now they're back in this space and it's more like an in-between sized space. So not as large as the Disney store spot, but not as small as the in-between spot, I'm calling it now. I think it'll be a better fit for longer, hopefully. And hopefully they don't have to move again for like a few more years. So, yay, Market Spot. They said that they moved in like 4 days though, which is like absolutely nuts. I can't even start to fathom that, to be honest. All right, here we go. Let's get this in and under. And actually, now that they've got that space, maybe they can restart pop-ups. That would be a lot of fun, so I'll get in touch with them. There we go. Once I have more stock again, I think that's a place where I will go in and rotate stock actually every couple months probably, just because I think it'll sell better just having a new rotation of fabrics consistently. So don't think that's gonna hurt. All right, we are done top stitching. It's all done. So we're gonna turn the sewing machine off so I don't accidentally start it while I'm like sitting here not doing much except for like gluing on the logos. But now that is the next step, is gluing on logos. It is a very exciting step because it is the second last one. Okay, so I need to grab the logos and I need to grab the glue, and I probably should actually grab the lint roller. So give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna go grab the lint roller. Then we can lint roll this, and then we can glue the logos on. So like, give me 2 seconds because I know the lint roller is across the room still. That was totally the look, that was totally the look of just someone being like, okay, do I have everything I need before I sit down? And I was like, no, I'm gonna grab the black thread because you know that as soon as I start sewing those cake cozies, I'm gonna need to start winding another bobbin. So that's why I also set some stuff behind me to wrap up on as well. Well, the cake cozies and the key fobs, which need the key fobs are done basically, but they need their actual hardware installed still. So again, something that could happen tomorrow morning, but hey, if I end up having the time tonight, we will do it tonight. Okay. So with these guys, I do always, or typically, if I can, do 2 at a time because I find it easier to I distribute the glue between 2 because it's just easier to do it that way and spread it out without having to like get out a bunch of fancy tools to do it with. So let's get to it. Sorry, I'm going to turn you just a smidge here so you can see. There we go. So we go in with the glue. Actually, you know what? We're going to turn this one upside down in that spool. I wonder if I should have done that with this one first. Probably. It's thick too because it's a little bit older. Fine. Be that way. We'll start with this one because it's like, as soon as I turned it upside down, it went gloop. I saw the air bubble rise. Of course, it's sticky because it's probably got glue on the tip that's stuck, but you know, we'll get it working. Oh yeah, look at that. Great big globule of glue. Yay. All right, come off. Thank you. Ugh. Nope, stuck. Okay. Over here. Yeah, I did it. Okay. So typically I put a big glump like that down and then we spread it like this first. And this is why I take 2, is I sandwich it and we squish that glue around, and that's how I spread it to the edges. Ha ha ha, because you know, it's not exactly non-toxic glue, I don't think. Or at least it's like, well, okay, there is a ton of warnings on the bottle. So I think it's like not exactly toxic, but it's like, don't get this in your eyes. May catch fire. So I try to like limit my exposure to it as much as possible. So I'm not going to sit here and spread it with my fingers. So that's why we do the little sandwich. I say as I have it all over my fingers now. Reduce my exposure, I guess. All right, so there we go. That's them there. And then I'll check them in the morning or like while we're doing drawstrings, and we'll see if they need any more glue. And then they do actually get sandwiched with a very heavy steel plate and typically something else like a water bottle like that. And then that'll help. It is an instant adhere. It is repositionable, but like it's not going anywhere. But having a little bit extra convincing for glue on leather to fabric is never a bad idea, I figure. Okay. Some of these are a little bit rough around the edges, and so I'm just going to trim a little bit of that fray off where it's really bad, so we don't have to worry about like tucking it in when we come to glue it onto the actual bag. These are all scrap pieces from cutting straps, so that's why there is a little bit of fray. It's basically I've hit the point where I can't cut any more straps from it. So it may not be the prettiest part of the hide, but I am trying to use as much of the leather as possible because it is not inexpensive. Okay, there we go. I'm pretty happy with that. Those have been sitting under that steel block all day to like get basically pressed a little bit, because when you brand the iron it makes it curl from the heat, at least that leather that I use and probably the heat level I use. It works though, so we're not going to change it. All right, I want to see if I can get this one working again because it is a little bit older, and so I would like to use it up here soon. Oh yeah, look at that. That one Needs a little bit of TLC too, because that will show through. There we go. Just like dotting myself with leather right now. Excellent, excellent. Okay, so get that. There we go. Oh yeah, it's just a little bit older and a little bit crankier. Very slow. Okay. Nice clean cut off ability though. So there's that. Okay. Recap that one for now. I'm going to throw it in the other spool that's over here. Good. So we'll actually stay upright in that as well. I just don't want it falling over. Squish this like some sort of forbidden Oreo. Okay. Please do not dip these in milk. This is not for consuming. All right. Yeah, it's a little bit grumpier to spread as well, so this is just going to take a little bit more work here. There we go. The other thing about this is because it does dry a little bit quickly, it sometimes, as it gets older, it also just tends to dry a little bit faster. So I'm going to pop that one down because it is good to go, and then I can like massage it in a little bit there, and then we'll just add a little bit more around this dry patch. So you can kind of see towards my middle finger here that there's just an area of like no glue. So I'm just going to add a very thin layer there. Pop that back and then put this down. Okay, there we go. And as you can see, that's pretty fast adherence there. Like I said, I just like having it under the steel plate because I figure, hey, a little bit of weight and a little bit of time is never going to hurt the penetration of like the glue into either the fabric or the leather, to be honest, because it's got to go both ways. So usually about the time that I get 4 or 6 in here, we're good. And then, yeah, we'll just continue stacking them up there for a few minutes. And then they'll move behind me onto the thing that's behind me. What is behind me? The ironing board. That thing behind me that you can't tell what's behind me because it's on the other side of me, not the side that's facing the camera. But it is my ironing board. Trim that down because that's obviously still connected here. Just like that. Hello, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. I didn't realize that that pop-up box was still operating. Obviously you are new. Just as a heads up, I am Katie. This is Atelier Nekozuki and I make Japanese fabric bags and accessories. Basically, I go to Japan and I buy the fabrics there, and then I come back and I make the bags and accessories in my studio. Okay, so we have to fully cap it, or else we end up with a massive glob. Gross. Excellent. Okay, well, here we go. This bottle's just about done. I think we'll probably finish this well before we're done gluing all of these on. Okay, there we go. Ding. Also, I do hope that the Twitch stream is actually working. It does seem like it does have some issues right now. So if it does black out, just know that I am also on YouTube as well. And if the chat isn't working, that might be part of it as well. I'm not trying to ignore you. Sometimes the messages don't come through, unfortunately. And that's true of YouTube as well. So. There we go. Tippy, 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 tap. And then we'll open it up. Again, forbidden Oreo here. Nice cheese pull, though. I don't know why food analogies are the best analogies right now, but apparently that's what's in my brain. So we'll go with it. All right. What we're going to do is ooh, don't put it on upside down. I'm going to put it on and then just kind of squish it around to get that edge down. If I need to throw a little bit more glue in it on underneath it afterwards, I am perfectly happy to do that. Yeah, I am going to need to do that. Let's maybe do that right now, since I know I need to. Oh yeah, definitely. Okay. All right, open it up here. Ugh. Yeah, it's definitely very gummed up now. I'll just kind of do a swoopity-swoopity-swoop. I don't know what a better sound effect for that is, but it is definitely a swoopity-swoop. I think that's good. Just a little bit more down right there. There, squish. And a squish. And of course now it's like, hey, I have air pushing it out now. Yay. No, stop bubbling out. There's so many bad ways that could be taken. And I am talking about the glue. It's like slowly volcanoing out of the, like, bottle. Which is how it got goopy to begin with. Alright, I'm going to open up the Twitch stream too, and just see if it is actually streaming or not. It did say that it probably cut, but I don't know what happened. Ding, ding. Yeah, because like it says that I'm live, but I'm offline. I don't get it. It's so weird. Someone just followed me on Twitch too. So maybe it's not working on my end, but it's working on another end. I don't know. I'll make sure that I have the chat window open so that if there is anyone in the chat, we're good to go. Yeah, because it's not getting pushed through to the streaming service either. Let me just interact with them because this is very strange. All right, let's get these glued here. Oh, okay, we're gonna wipe that off on the back of the lint roller sheet that we just had. Oh, come on, Glooby. I know. Life's rough. I guess I better put you back in the spool then to actually like get the glue back in the actual spout. Okay. All right, it can chill in there. We'll continue with the other bottle. And this is why we end up with 6 dozen different like bottles of the same supplies that are all like partially used. Or you forget that you have something. Or both. I am going to need another bottle of Beacon here though, because we're going to need to, there's a lot more Kato to finish this summer and a lot more leather tags to glue on, because I think this style of leather tag is also what I'm going to glue on to the mini traveler sling. I think there's enough room on there. I'll have to take a look. Could definitely go on the top of it, which would be kind of cool. So the bottom bit of like under the pocket, it could go above the pocket. Because above the pocket's also going to be the denim, and it would look good. I will grab it and we'll take a look at both options later. Okay. There we go. Did I get everything this time? Yeah, good. Black. Okay, there we go. Then we'll throw one down here like this, and then just press it in, or on, or whatever you want to call it. It's kind of like pressing it into the fabric because it's going into the fibers. All right, so that's 8. So we're about a quarter of the way through. Because I think I said there's what, like 35? So this next round will definitely be a quarter of the way through. And so we'll press these ones and then we'll move them back. Ugh, glue. Freaking everywhere. Everywhere! I don't want to start collecting Aeroplan. Go away. Okay. Just make sure we're good there. All right, and then again, the last step for this after the logos is putting in the drawstrings. It won't necessarily be a focus tonight, depending on how long this actually takes. It is taking a little bit longer than I anticipated. But yeah, it depends on what time we finish up this and the cake cozies, because sewing can't happen at the retreat or like during setup. But drawstring installation definitely can while I'm like, or in the morning or whatever, because it's not like I have to be there super early. So, all right, I'm gonna pull this off. Just pop it with the other bags down there that we're gonna lint roll next. This definitely needs a little bit of a trim up. I'll get a few of those stray hide hairs off. Not hide hairs, but it's like, yeah, leather strands. Okay. Now I'll try the old glue again, because it should be okay. There we go. It's still really goopy on the inside, but as long as it works, I don't care. Yeah, we got glue. Kind of. Oh my goodness. So I know we've got all sorts of hacks to get like our cosmetics out of their bins and blah, 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 blah. Do we have hacks for like to get all the like the last drop of glue out of our craft containers yet? Do I need another? Ooh, I do have like a glue spatula. I wonder if I could reach in and just like gloop it out with the glue spatula. That might work. Okay, it's just that this is also getting very like tough on my hands to actually squeeze, so that might be a more valid option, is like opening it up. But I don't know if I could get in to get it out, but could I get it out effectively? That's the question. Compared to like sending it through the spout. I guess I could preload the spout and squeeze the bottle. I don't know. I guess we'll have to figure it out later. Not going to be not a learning curve we're going to do tonight. We're just going to, as a learning curve for the winter when it's a little bit slower. That's what it is. Because here's the other valid truth of it, is that I've really only gone through a couple of those bottles in the past 2 years I've been using it. So we are definitely using them efficiently. I'm not too worried about it. Okay, make sure that's glooped on there. Wipe away the excess before it actually dries, because it's easier when it's still damp. You can clean it up after it's like dried, but yeah, it's a pain in the butt, and it involves acetone, which then means that sometimes it takes off a little bit of the finish of the leather, and we're just going to avoid it the best we can. All right. So those ones will need to go back under the plate, or not back under, but they'll need to go under the plate here. I'm going to pop all these ones that are currently done back here. Actually, they're going to go, I thought they were going to go on the ironing board, but they're actually going to go on the bin that's behind me instead, because there's room on the bin and there's no room on the ironing board really. All right, next. This is the one of the other florals. Very bright floral. This bronze in this one is very interesting color choice. And the background color of this is what really caught my attention, because it's kind of like a aqua with gray and teal, which I guess is like the quintessential description of aqua probably. It has been a week, y'all. I'm sorry. Okay, next two. So need just a little bit of a cleanup here. And this guy as well. All right. As always, I invite questions or comments. Happy to have my monologue directed, especially as I am currently fighting glue bottles, and there's really nothing interesting to say about that except that this looks like mucus right now. Ugh, come on. Around and around and around and around, and we're gonna stop there and see if that's enough. Good Lord. Okay. Gross. Clear glue slime. Tippy-tippy-taps. Basically what I'm trying to do here is, like I said, it's like a forbidden Oreo. So I'm squishing the glue around again so I don't have to handle it with my hands. Like, I'm trying to avoid handling it with my hands as much as possible. Obviously, it is impossible to keep it completely off. If I was super worried about it, I would wear gloves. From the warnings, it looks like as long as I keep it out of my eyes, we're good. And with the size of my glasses lenses, I'm not worried about it. Like, getting into my eyeballs, really. But that doesn't mean that I want to, like, go in and, like, swirl it around with my finger. That, ugh, no. Let's not do that. Alright, let's go in here, and then we'll come here. And we'll throw the plate down on top of all four, like that. And then we'll throw the water bottle, a little bit extra weight, and I'm going to drink some more water here because I'm still trying to rehydrate from Puke Fest 2024. I was all like, Sunday my youngest ended up with like a stomach bug, threw up, like could not keep anything down post lunch, and then was perfectly fine on Monday. Kept them home from school though, because I was like, okay, I'm not sending them home or to school to like spread this if I can avoid it. Like if they're symptomatic, they gotta stay home. And I was like, okay, so I'll come back on Wednesday and like stream Wednesday and get all this stuff done that I'm doing right now. And then joke was on me because Tuesday night I basically spent the whole night either over or on a toilet. So yeah, when I say I'm still rehydrating, that's why. And then it was my birthday yesterday, and then I got like a second wave of like absolutely horrendous nausea right at dinner time, so I couldn't even enjoy any of my cake. I was really very upset. I was like, no. I think honestly that was the second worst getting sick over getting sick at Christmas, or probably tied with getting sick at Christmas when I was like a preteen. And that was also a stomach bug, because why wouldn't it be? Ugh. So bad. Okay, I'm just going to switch back to YouTube, make sure I'm not missing anything over here. We're good. Awesome. All right. Spread, spread, spread the glue. Husband got me a gift card to the bookstore, and I actually know exactly. Hi, Jennifer. Welcome back. I've just been rambling on and fighting with my glue bottle, so we're all good. Nothing too exciting has happened besides, like, well, progressing. I was just talking about how still rehydrating from Puke Fest 2024, so we've had a stomach bug go through the family. Well, at least the toddlers and me so far, so hopefully Dallas avoided it, because that would suck to have it knock out all four of us. But yeah, like, it was so bad. It gave me another wave of nausea last night, and I didn't even get to eat my cake for my birthday. I was like, no, that's not cool. But my husband did get me a gift card, and I know exactly what I'm going to buy with it. He bought it for our local bookstore. And so I'm going to go get Empire the Damned by Jay Kristoff. I think is the one I'm going to get, which is his like very dark fantasy vampire novel. Very adult. This is not a children's or even a teen's novel, that's for sure. No sparkly Twilight vampires there. But it is a very good series if you're looking for a vampire book. So, although if you are looking for a light read, it is not it either. Although I am finding that a lot of Jake Kristoff's books are not exactly the most lighthearted reads, even the ones that, yeah, I've read before for like YA and stuff like that. Okay, next two. Let's see if we can fight some more glue out of this old bottle. Oh yeah, there's quite a bit in there. I think we're gonna get more out of here than I anticipate. I am gonna take off this mess that I made earlier again. What I should do is I probably should clip a larger opening because it is thicker and like stickier right now. So yeah, let's clip a larger opening and then we'll continue on. There we go. That'll help. Yeah. Okay, sweet. It's not like I have to do fine detailed work with this tip. So there's no point in having a small opening. That is probably too much glue, but you know what? If we need to spread it to a third or fourth, we're good. Eek. No. Don't gloop up again. No more glooping. Okay. Back to the forbidden Oreo sandwich. Squish the glue to the edges. Sweet. It looks like it actually almost did right there as well. Pull it apart. Try to keep the cheese pull contained. Mostly. Spread a little bit more just so we don't have any edges lifting. And plunk it down. 1 and 2. I don't know why that was so close to that edge when I know perfectly well that these are going to overlap onto the canvas or off the canvas just a tick. When I started cutting these out of the back cuts of the large box bags, it meant that I adjusted the canvas depth. So these take up a little bit different room than they did on the prototypes or the original run, kind of. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't even know where I was going with that, though. Doesn't matter. Okay. Onto the plates with this one, and then and then we'll move them onto the bin after this. Like I said, it's mostly adhered at this point, but honestly, having a little bit of extra time is not going to hurt any of it. And wait. Time and wait. And I don't even know where we're at actually right now. So hopefully, well, we're obviously still progressing, so I can't complain. I usually do like to keep some sort of like count so that I have a generalized idea of like how long I have left, or how many I have left. Not how long, how many. All right, there we go. And 2 more here. I know that there's a few extras, so let's just count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17, 21, 23. Ooh, okay. Nowhere near as far as I thought. Although I think I cut 35 today and I had 5 and we only had 35 bags or something, so I don't know. We're 18 to 23 bags in the end. Oh, that is so, I don't know, on my end. Oh yeah, you can't really see that on the camera, but this like pile of glue is very unappetizing to look at right now. Gross. I don't know why. It's just clear and everything, but it's like just a pile of slime. It's wild because I don't get screamed out by a lot of stuff. It was funny because we had so much like, hi Kristen. Thank you. I appreciate that. I know if you're on YouTube, it is kind of weird how you stumble across lives on there. All the fabrics are Japanese. I go to Kyoto and Tokyo to purchase the fabrics, and then I come back and I make all the bags and accessories. So my main market is actually knitters and crocheters, but I am trying to expand that a little bit over the last couple of years. I've got some exciting products actually coming up for that. So after I have a retreat pop up tomorrow, and then after that I'll be focusing in a little bit more on the less niche products. Anyway, when we had a bunch of rain in like May, of course the worms are all out on the driveway and everything like that, so I was picking them up to move them out of the way so I don't squish them too much. And my spin teacher at our studio was telling a story about how her boys were just like so into them, and she's so not into worms. And so I had the complete opposite thing. Both my toddlers were like, Mom, why did you pick that up? I'm like, it's just a worm. It's not a big deal. And they're both like, ugh. Why? They were super excited about seeing like a snake at the zoo yesterday though. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll take it. I want them to have a respect for stuff. I don't need them to be scared of stuff. Hey, well, that is why you're here then. It is kind of funny because normally what I hear about the bags is that what I hear is that it's like they'll buy one and then they'll just continue. So it's beware that they are like Lay's. Once you eat one or buy one, you just can't stop. I will be doing a massive shop update sometime in late July, probably aiming towards like kind of like a Christmas in July update, because that'll be post next pop-up, which means that I will have another round of stuff done. And if you sign up for the newsletter, that is actually the easiest way to find out when that update will be. Or if you're in the Calgary, Alberta area, that is where I'm located, and that's where my pop-ups are happening this year. So I will be at the Crochet Retreat tomorrow in the Northeast, and then I will be at the Ancient Arts Yarn Stampede Breakfast, and then I will also be at Knit City, Calgary in August. I will also be, if you're out in BC, that's where I'll be next year when they have Knit City Vancouver next year. So I'm also trying to organize at least one event out in Vancouver at some point this year. So we'll see if that pans out, or maybe early next year, who knows. Sometime in the near future. There we go. I'm like, what is that word? Okay. So right now we're just glooping a bunch of glue onto the logos here for the Kato bags. Trying to give them as much cure time as possible before I transport them to the show tomorrow. Because, nothing like putting these on less than 24 hours before hopefully selling them. I just realized I need to update the events page on the website. I'm pretty sure I updated it from 23. I hope. Oops. I even have nice fancy graphics that I used on like Instagram that I could just put on the website. So maybe that'll be a task that I do after this. Okay, 1 and 2. Ugh, glue everywhere. I'm sure there's a better way of doing this, but I haven't found it yet. Not that I've asked around a lot, but I'm nearly positive there's a better way of doing this. Oh well, we'll figure it out eventually. I don't want to sew them on because I'm like, that is, no. I don't think my machine would survive that for very long is part of it. And then the other side of that is that it would require an investment in like all new threads and everything. So we'll just deal with the gloopy glue for now. That one needs to be redone. That is the one that's in timeout because it once again thwarted me with its handle. So bringing the lint roller in though was a game changer. I don't normally do that, and so I'm normally like picking cat hair and like fluff off of this so it doesn't get glued onto the bag with the label. And I don't know why I never thought of the actual lint roller before this, because obviously it is picking up a lot of excess that's on the bags. Obviously I lint roll bags when they're really bad at shows and things like that, but I've never thought of to do it here before I actually glue anything on. So yeah, here we are, learning new things every day. Okay. Uh-oh. We are actually getting to the bottom of this bottle. We might just do it yet tonight. I do have another bottle. I'm not worried about it. That's why there was no panic in my voice. Although that does mean I probably should pick up the next bottle so that I've got enough for the next round. I probably have enough in the other bottle for another round. But as long as I don't open it, it doesn't actually go super gloopy. It's just when you open it that like the countdown starts basically. And yes, I'm going to continue to refer to these as forbidden Oreos because that's 100% what they are. Okay, there we go. There we go. Pop it on. Obviously, I am not measuring these. I'm just guesstimating, but they seem to always end up approximately in the middle. So I'll take it. Basically just squish down. I try and clean up the glue around the edge as much as possible because you can do that afterwards, but it is far easier when it's still damp. Go. I really like this koi one. So it's got that really nice warp and like slubby warp and weft, and so it's like got a really nice hand to a very light fabric. There we go. All right, throw these under the plates again. Next ones. All right, I do think that this is still my favorite. So when I'm talking about like how these, so typically the background ends up having like a different colorway to make things pop. In this case, this dark teal is here. Whereas like on the one of the other ones, I think the blue bag, I wonder if it's like right here or if we've already glued it. No, it looks like we've already glued it. Oh yeah, it's right here. I can actually pull it and show you right now rather than just talking out my butt. So these are the comparison of the two. So the blue on the blue, or the green here on the blue is like a lighter tone of green. Pops very differently on the black as well. But then like this purple is actually like a dark teal on the black fabric. And I don't know, the colorway on the actual, on the black just like does it for me way better. And actually it looks like, so yeah, on the blue, a lot of the colors that are similar are kind of toned down, just one notch, like one drop of white has been added in sort of thing. Whereas the black, they're a lot more vibrant. Just super cool to see like the differences in the two, to be honest. It doesn't look like any of the motifs have actually changed, just the colors. Yeah, just the colors. And even then, not all of the colors. I know, it's absolutely spectacular. This one, I think, is like, if I don't think I could ever do a top 10, but if I had to, this would be probably right at the top, right now anyway. There is a fairy tale fabric that also has always had my heart, but I can't get it anymore because it was like one that I was working with about well, a while ago. 10 years ago now. I'm like, wait. All right. So most of the cat hair that you're seeing here is from my giant orange boy, Norwegian forest cat. So the name of this style of bag is a Kato, Kato. And it's got a leather handle. It is set up for D-rings, with D-rings to make a crossbody. And then at the end of this process, it will also get drawstring closure at the top. It's got 5 slip pockets on the interior. And since you guys are watching on YouTube, you always have first dibs. So if there's anything you see and you're like, oh my God, I have to have it, we can arrange it. And I can definitely set it aside because I get it. I keep seeing photos from the shop that I go to in Kyoto right now. And I'm like, no, I have to wait another year. Stop teasing me. I honestly don't know. I think it was easier to look at those photos when I couldn't go to Japan. Now that I can, it's like, oh yeah, you can totally go to Japan. It's like, no, stop teasing. I don't want to see them. My next trip will probably be either June or July next year, depending on how this retreat goes tomorrow, or this retreat market goes tomorrow. It'll be July. If I can take it or leave it a little bit, I will go in June next year. June is like the rainy season though, so it's like, but July is also like hellishly hot and humid, so it's like, which do I trade off? Either month works. If I go in June, it's my birthday month, so there's that. Or it's actually on my birthday. I would be in Japan for my birthday. I've never actually been in Japan for June or July. I was an exchange student there originally, but my exchange was like end of August, like August 31st. Through to the end of May, because it was an American term system, because it was the closest one to I went to University of Calgary, Canadian term system. That system's like mid-September to late April. Oh yes, sorry, I could have actually shown you. So these are all, oh my goodness gracious, of course it's not going to show. Huh, well that's a new problem. Let me put it onto intermission here and I'll show you on the face cam because I have a feeling that's going to show it better. Anyway, these are all the branded logos and what you end up with is Atelier Nekozuki on all of them. Looks like it's showing it mostly. So yeah, so that's what, because I don't sew in a label into these bags, these are what go on the exterior of them. And that's why it's like, has to happen. It's an unskippable step. Because one of the things that got mentioned one time when I was originally watching podcasts, it was with the Knit Girls, and it stuck with me, obviously, because I can even remember who was saying it, is that someone asked them who their bag was from, and they said, I don't know, and there's no tag in it to tell you who made it. And so that stuck with me of like, okay, tag every single item I can. Now, I don't tag like some of the smaller stuff like the bookmarks because there's no space. It would take up too much of the print, but anything else pretty much I do. One moment, I'll be right back. All right, my husband's heading off to bed because he's got a 10K race up a mountain tomorrow. So that's going to be fun for him. He is excited, but that means it is bedtime for him and not bedtime for me because my day, well, I'll still start my day at the same time so that I get some stuff done in the morning, but I don't have to go run 10K up a mountain tomorrow. Thank you. Yeah, honestly, it is really hard to decide on prints when I'm in Japan. It's like, so there's a full breakdown of it on the channel of like kind of the processes I go through at each shop. But in Tokyo, there's a shop called Tomato, and they've got like 5 floors of fabric. I don't buy off of every floor because I don't need to. But the main floors I do are like the 1st floor and the 4th floor. And so like you go around and I look and I shop first basically. And then they've got like big carts and it's self-serve. So you pull all the bolts off the shelves and everything like that and like put them into these carts and all of this. I still remember I think this was the November trip, and there was a girl and she's like, oh, you can use the carts. I'm like, yes, go get one. She like just stacked it. She looked so happy doing it. And then you go and you get the like, so you can only shop on the 1st floor and you can only shop on the 4th floor, right? You can't take the bolts between floors. But yeah, so what I do is I usually like shop both floors, figure out what I'm going to take. I have a very like general guideline of weight basically because I'm restricted by my luggage on how much I can bring home. And yeah, so far it hasn't failed me. So it's like, okay, I'm pretty close. I really like this one too. So it's like florals with cranes, and some of the cranes have the floral motifs kind of like mirrored in them. Also really like this navy on the background. Yeah, and then no more the tailor. You go around and I do all my selections, and then I snag a salesperson, which is what you do, and then they go around and you show them everything you want. They pull the bolts, and then they take all the bolts to the cutting table, and you stand at the cutting table and tell them what you want. The last time I did, the last trip I had done to Japan was in May of 2018, and then the following trip that I went to Japan was November of 2022. Like, I was at Knit City, Vancouver, waiting for Japan to like announce that they had reopened, and they announced it as I was at Knit City. That's what we were kind of expecting. So I'm like, please, 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 please. And then it's the whole thing of like, okay, now I gotta arrange care for the toddlers, make sure my like mother-in-law's good with keeping them for the day. I'll fly out. My husband works a week in, week out schedule. So I'll fly out the day he like flies in, and he can take the kiddos. And I don't know where I was going with that. But anyway, it was a good trip. Where was I going with that? Gone. That train completely derailed into the abyss. All right. But anyway, and then, so that was the first trip back after everything, or during that we were allowed. Then Caroline of Ancient Arts and I went in May of 2023, and that was her first trip, so she really enjoyed it. We'd been talking about it for years, and that was one thing that the whole shutdown kind of kicked us in the butt about. It's like, okay, if you're going to actually do this, you got to do it, and you got to do it now. So that's what we did. We just went, screw it. Okay. Squishy, 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 squish. But yeah, it's looking like, so the next trip will be in next year, next summer at some point, just because that's when both of our schedules actually line up again, which is insane. It's the main thing it has to line up with is a temple market, because if I'm focusing on purchasing obi and kimono to actually upcycle, I do that at temple markets, not like just, well, I could still do it at secondhand stores, but I prefer doing it at the temple markets. And Natsumi, or Day Day House 23, she makes the clay cat charms for me. And she is so busy that she can't actually fulfill an order until next spring. So I was going to go in November originally, but when I got that news, I was like, okay, I haven't booked anything. So I'm like, we'll just shuffle the dates. And actually it works better for finances on my side too. As much as it's like, damn it, now I won't have like any charms for the next, like I'm down to 6 charms. So that was the whole debate, and why I didn't get my order in earlier is it's like, okay, I just ran out of charms. Like, how many do I actually order? So I think at this point I'm going to take both orders that I did in May and November, so 22 and 23, and then basically take those numbers and then add at least 50%. We're also planning to do a family trip in early 26. So it's like, if she doesn't get them all done for next June, that's fine too. I think this is also at the top of my favorites. The purple of this is absolutely spectacular. And then the peonies and like chrysanthemums that are on there are just so good. And the weft of that fabric is actually textured instead of this, which is dauby. And so it's textured on the warp and the weft, and so it gives it a really interesting texture in both directions. And it elevates a like lightweight fabric into something that's like super interesting, versus just being another like lightweight quilt cotton or something like that. Okay, I think we might actually be out of glue from this bottle at least, which is good because it is not happy. Come on, glue. You can do this last couple of labels, and then you can rest in peace. Don't worry. You've served us well. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I think we're going to call it there. And I gotta get it going quick, or else it's gonna... I'm still going to leave it upside down, because who knows what will kind of like drip down. But I think we will switch to the other bottle, at least for tonight. All right, there we go. Oh, yeah, it went really, really, really sticky really fast. Eek. It's not even like spreading correctly. Well, if some of these need to be redone, then they need to be redone. That's part of why I wanted to do it tonight, because like that's not stuff you find out until it's gone through at least a good chunk of the curing process. So these are going to sit and cure while we do the hemming of the cake cozies, which will be next after all of these are glued. And actually, we're pretty close to the end now, which is good. Yeah, they'll sit and cure. I think it's got about a thing of like, it should sit for about 2 hours. I find typically they don't move very much after the first 5 to 10 minutes. So as long as they sit during the cake cozy process, I'm not too worried about it. And if the cake cozies go smooth, then we can start the drawstring process that I don't have to worry about in the morning. But I will trade that off for a full night's sleep, so we'll see where we end up, because if I need to drawstring in the morning, that is fine. But it's only 9 o'clock, so. Although cake cozies are going to take. So the cake cozies right now need to be hemmed, and then something. What needs to happen with the cake cozies? Hems, and then something and something. I don't know anymore. Oh man, summer sunsets right now are spectacular. We're really lucky that we live right on the edge of town, and so we've got an absolutely spectacular view of the mountains. All right. Also, these are my super professional glue holders right now, just so you are aware. We are dual purposing our thread spools tonight. Oh, that, yeah, that went so much better and easier. Holy, okay. Ugh. Sticky, sticky glue. There we go. There we go. Get the glue off my fingers a little bit better so I don't like, part of it is I don't want them on there very long, and part of it is also that I'm not going back in and like putting that glue back on to the fabric and the leather here. This is another one of my favorites with like it's all chrysanthemums in different like forms, and then the colorways are all just kind of like just off of what you would see naturally, but it's on that really nice dark teal background, and like it looks so good. It looks like a cross between a chrysanthemum and succulent garden. And then the one underneath it is carousel horses and snow globes along with teddy bears, and it's just so whimsical. There's a pink version of this as well, of the teddy bears with the carousel horses, and it's just, or snow globes. And it's just so good. And they're both very whimsical in their own way, just with their color palette change. It's super cool. All right, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 left. All right, so that actually went far better than I anticipated it going. Apparently, I might have just needed a break from my sewing machine. Who knows? Okay, that one's good. That one is good in a pinch. How many do I need? Oh, we're gonna have to use them all anyway. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that one can go into in a pinch. The rest of these will be fine. So they're not all perfect because they are all hand cut and branded. But as long as they get the message across, I figure we got it. A little bit of added personality, right? Gotta remember that. I want Dallas to come downstairs and take photos of me working on Monday so I can get an application in for a show. So that was the main. So I just did a massive studio reorganization, which has needed to be, it's like been brewing for a while. We moved into this place a couple of years ago, and there's been some like major shuffles in the sewing studio and the cutting studio. The basement was already developed, so they built the bedroom, and we were going to keep the bedroom down here as a bedroom for like guests and stuff like that. But the sad fact of the matter is that the majority of our friends are allergic to cats, so I can't see very many people staying. And realistically, there is enough room actually out in this like sewing studio area now that we could set up like a blow up bed or something like that if people want to crash here. No big deal. So last year we moved the cutting table from this area into the bedroom, which was way better because what it meant is that I actually kept the cutting table fairly tidy last summer, which is amazing because it was flipping busy. Because what I could do is, since the fabric shelves were already in there, I could just fold the fabric back up and put it on its respective shelf. So that helped significantly. Is it perfect or always perfect? No, but it was definitely an improvement. And then it was like this space really needed to be optimized. And there was quite a few changes actually to do in the cutting studio too. i.e. we moved the cutting table against a wall, or not completely against a wall, but mostly against a wall. I took a shelf out of the closet that was holding the obi and kimono, and now they're hanging in the closet again, which is like a way better use of space because now the steam press can like live in the closet and just get moved. Actually, it's living at the end of the cutting table right now, and I think that is where it's gonna stay, at least for now. It might move in and out of the closet though, like when it's more dormant. But here's the thing, after this week we're going into full-on summer mode because the kids are going to summer camps over the summer, which was a boon to the business last year. Summer is like one of the busiest periods for the business because I have my big like Knit City is in August this year, and I am I got to get going. But the studio reorganization really needed to happen. So there was that, and then yeah, we reshuffled this whole space here. So originally I had this against the big picture window over here, but then I moved it back here early this year, somewhere in there, and it was already an improvement, but it didn't flow very well because I didn't have everything in like the work triangle. So what we did last when Dallas was on like kind of staycation is we moved all the stuff that was on the wall previously that was across the room to right behind me. So now all my zipper pulls and like hardware is right behind me. The desk that I use for my presses is right behind me, and it's just a better workflow. And it's much more presentable as a studio as well. So I will be tidying it up. I was going to tidy up and do a studio tour before Knit City, but I have a feeling it's going to happen after Knit City now, because I am realizing that it is like less than 2 months to Knit City now. Yep, so that studio tour will happen post Knit City. And then, yeah, but it is almost to the point of being able to do a studio tour. I say almost to the point because the kids area is definitely not video worthy right now. That's fine. It's a keep busy area for them, and that's the thing. And it's even like I don't even feel that bad that my studio is already not necessarily tour worthy, because it's like if it's too tidy, it means I'm not working. And right now I am working, so it's not. It's an operating studio, not a homes and gardens photo shoot. But the flow is way better. I've already noticed that, like, it's saving me a lot of time. And like I've got all my stuff hanging over here that's like the drawstrings and the labels for the other bags, and like the glue is up there, and yeah, it's just a lot better workflow than it was before. But that's the thing, is that like it takes a while to settle into space, and it's like things have shifted, and like I started working with leather after I moved into this house, and like that changes what you need for space to work with, and blah 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 blah. Cat problems? Not really even cat problem. It's not a problem, it's just monologuing. If you hear me talk about cat problems though, and you are new, they are problems that are inconsequential to anyone but myself, and they are a reference from a Jory John illustrated picture book called Cat Problems, in which the cat goes around and complains. But the one that makes me think of, like, when I say cat problems, is the cat sitting in front of the food dish being like, dry food, I asked for wet food, not dry food, wet food. That sort of like, that's why I call it cat problems when I complain like this, because it's like, it's inconsequential to anyone else, and realistically, it's not the end of the world, and it's only barely inconvenient to me. Is it actually even inconvenient to me? No, not typically. We're done. That is the last of the labels. Okay, so now we go in and we do the, I got glue in between my fingers. Okay, that's new. I am actually going to go close all the blinds, because honestly, with all the bright lights on, I don't really want people being able to see in as it gets darker here. So I will be right back here. That was a happy dance. That was a happy dance because the whip bin was clear for a very, very, very brief moment. Man. Except that like one of them thwarted me, so you know. Oh shoot, I need to actually trim. Okay, first things first, we need to bring up all these cake cozies out from underneath here. Okay, good. We need our thread bunnies. Okay, and then I need to figure out how many actual labels we need. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This one's already done. 11, 12, 13 cotton, and 1 cotton linen blend label. Oh shoot, where are the cotton linens? Are they still over here? There it is. Okay. So 1 cotton linen. I don't do the cake cozies in the cotton linen anymore. This is one that was cut like actual years ago. We're not going to discuss sometimes how long those whip piles. Ooh, ow. The mic just shocked me. Anyway, we're not going to discuss sometimes how long those whip piles stick around. As knitters and crocheters and quilters, I'm sure we all know just how long those systems can be. Okay, and how many, shoot, how many cotton did I say? Let's just get 20, and then if I have extra, I have extra. It's not like I can't use them for other bags later. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I have to actually find a new label supplier. I think there's one in Calgary that can supply them, but someone who can do the new like custom, basically, I guess it's basically just custom satin ribbon. It's not like anything fancy. Because my old supplier that had been in business for like 30 or 35 years or something, quite decent, just disappeared one day. No warning at all to any customers to be like, hey, we are closing our doors, or we may be closing our doors, get your last orders in, or anything like that. Just up and gone. And now I'm coming to the end of my like rolls, and I still haven't found a replacement. So I guess that might be something that I have to do this summer. The person in Calgary for sure can at least do like the in-betweens, but it's like I would like to find someone hopefully comparable in cost, or at least not like triple the cost, which might be impossible. I understand that. Again, cat problems. Really. Although it was really annoying that they didn't give us a heads up that they were going to close. Like, come on. I've been ordering from them for like 5 to 6 years. I know I was probably not their biggest client, but seriously. Actually, I should go in and see if they've like randomly reopened or something. Maybe they did find a buyer afterwards, because they were looking for a buyer. Maybe they found them later. I don't know. All right, so that was mostly just prep to make sure that everything is in line to get going here. Okay, interesting. Just gonna close that. So we have to hem these. Basically what the cake cozies are, I've gone in and serged them. And then I go in and hem them, and then we install the elastic afterwards. We will go in and chain piece all of these. I know that the elastic is wrapped up in all these pieces, but that is fine because we know what they're for. So we'll put a thread bunny here. Turn the machine back on, because that is always helpful in these situations to actually have an operating sewing machine. Pop those over there too. Thread, oh yeah, turn this down to construction length. There we go. And hey, Flynn Flon, what's up? Yeah. I hear you. All right, so these were actually a challenge to myself to use up offcuts from like the knot bags and stuff like that. And I'm not making as many knot bags anymore, but obviously these are a lot of like the finish off of a lot of like memory lane fabrics at this point, which is kind of fun. Some of the stuff that I like originally imported through Etsy sellers, and some of the stuff that I originally like purchased on like my first trip to Japan, and the first, well, not my first trip to Japan, but my first time purchasing fabric in Japan. Yeah, it's kind of insane because so I was an English major in university, although the main reason to go to university, and I knew this even applying, was because I wanted to go on exchange. And like going as a student is a far different experience than going and working, of course. So I wanted to go as a student. And the university I applied for was highly competitive in Japan. And being an English major, I had 2 Japanese universities because Japan was the place I wanted to go. But then I also put Edinburgh because it's like, okay, well, if I don't get into Japan, Edinburgh is at least like, whatever. I want to do an exchange. That is the main thing. Really, just send me anywhere, please. And Edinburgh would actually be useful for my degree. That was the thing. And it was actually one of the questions that I got in my exchange interview was like, okay, so you've got 2 Japanese universities and then you've got Edinburgh, and it's like that's the answer I gave, was like, yeah, because it's like I want to go to Japan, but I'm an English major, so Edinburgh would actually be more useful for my degree. But it's like, if I'd gone to Edinburgh, I would have never had this. So I emailed I had been talking about this all last summer, so I finally emailed my exchange coordinator. She's now like the director, I think, of international like students and study abroad, which is awesome. And I said, hey, like, thanks, because like this is what I'm doing with this opportunity now that you gave me like 15 years ago. And like, who would have thought that an exchange to Japan would be this formative for an English major? And she's like, yeah, like, who would have thought that that would have been the best decision, like a career path decision for an English major, right? So I also went into university not assuming that my English degree was going to get me a degree though either. Like, it wasn't something that I didn't really have any desire to like pursue a master's or PhD. I did apply for like a master's, and where at least I got a supervisor, and I was like, okay, if I don't get funding for it, then it's not something that I'm like super set on pursuing. So that's probably a good thing I didn't get funding. And going to Japan was also a test to see if I was like into going back and teaching English, and at that point, not so much. I think if I got the opportunity now, the story would be very different. If I had the opportunity to go back now and live in Japan, I would definitely take it. Like, live and work in Japan. Especially if like my husband's job schedule like allowed it. He doesn't, but yeah, so it's just, but this is a really good way to keep that kind of connection as well and still be here instead. Come on, fabric, go under that foot. I know. Getting folded over, and that loop is really easy to catch on that foot. All right, so these cake cozies, if you are a knitter or crocheter, are for going over top of your yarn cake after you've caked it. It's basically a like project bag light is what I like to think of it as. It helps contain the yarn ends so that you're not like, they're not unraveling and getting tangled together or in the bag or like any other multitude of things that can happen. That's what these are for. Or if you want to like put your yarn in a in one of these, like you can throw it into a purse without a project bag, or you can put it in a purse, or sorry, in a project bag, and it won't tangle around each other or whatever. I think a lot of people call them yarn socks or something like that. And I know you can use, like you can cut off pantyhose and use pantyhose for it and blah, 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 blah. But this was, like I said, a scrap busting challenge for myself, and it has turned out very well. Besides the fact that every single time I go to do these, it's like my serger wants to fight me. This time it wasn't a serger fight so much as my kids had gotten in and broken one of my thread loop arms. So that was fun to figure out. I ended up setting up the jankiest like situation to rectify it. It worked for, well, it looks like it might have worked. I don't know. Kind of. I'm like sewing the ones that I definitely serged, and I'm like, can't tell if it was the tension or the like thread placement. It's all good. The edges are still finished, but oh yeah, the thread tension might have been a bit off, which surprise. But it's also a vintage machine, so it doesn't have a typical just straight bar on the back. It has the L-shaped bracket, and so it's like finding the L-shaped bracket in any timely manner is not going to happen. I have to order it from China. So yay. And then it was just like Sunday was just an absolute start to the whole downfall of the week, because that happened, and then my youngest started throwing up at my mother-in-law's while I was running errands in the city, because I was like, okay. I was very I was livid, because of course I've told them to leave it alone and everything like that. But they're moving targets for like what they can reach week by week, of course, or day by day. And I was just like, they must have gotten a hold of it when I wasn't looking or something. Anyway, I thought maybe, hey, we could solder the arm back on, but no, like a piece of the actual like plastic bracket of it has broken off. So I'm like, okay, I need to chill. I called my mother-in-law. I'm like, can I drop them off so I can run my errands by myself? And yes. Then I got back and she's like, yeah, the youngest threw up a bunch of stuff. And then they didn't keep anything down. And I'm like, oh no. And then I ended up with it on Tuesday night to Wednesday morning. And now my eldest is also dealing with tummy issues, and it's just like, no. But yeah, Sunday was a day, and it's just led into a week. Again, cat problems, really. Although I absolutely abhor stomach bugs. They're like the bane of my existence. Dealing with like throw up is like one of the things that I hate the most about cats, children, everyone. Myself included. It's gross. Don't like it. Anyway, I'm hoping we're over that. Over the hill of it. The hump. And that they both get to go to school on Monday. Because youngest was home on Monday last week, because I was like, okay, well, I'm not sending them to school because they were throwing up less than 24 hours ago. Realistically, I can kind of work around them. Kind of. They're a little bit harder to work around than my eldest. My eldest has always been a little bit easier to work around. They both went on Wednesday because they didn't have any symptoms, so it's like, cool, that's awesome. Except I felt like absolute shit, so that was no fun. And they had the year-end party, so we went and did that, and then they did like a half day at school, which thankfully they did, because it meant that I was able to sleep most of the afternoon, which was like the most restorative thing that I could have done on Wednesday, really. And then the eldest was home today because of their tummy issues. It's just like, no, please let this be the last of it for like the summer, because we've got a busy summer. I've got a busy summer ahead of me. At least no more stomach bugs, please. No more stomach bugs. I think that's a fair condition. All right, 2 more to do the first hem on, and then apparently I overcounted these somehow and I have like a massive stack. Okay. Maybe it was 13 and not 17. And I mixed up the 3 and 7. That is completely possible. That's probably what happened. Because like I counted them and then it was like in one neuron and out the other. Just like, that's not going to stick around in short-term memory at all. I don't know why I think it's going to at this point. Because it never really, it only very occasionally does. But I don't think we get enough fair warning about mom brain. It's like people talk about brain fog in pregnancy, but my goodness, the brain fog in being a mom. It has to be partly because of the sleep deprivation. Here's the thing. I adore my kids. But yeah, I will be very happy when I can get a full night of sleep again. It's actually one of the best things about traveling solo to Japan. To do my like first fabric restock in November of 22 was the fact that I had a bed to myself for a full week. It was absolutely amazing. Very restorative, even with the jet lag. Because actually the jet lag was pretty easy because I landed, got down to Kyoto, and then I went and visited a friend on the first day. Because that was like top priority, which was good. I'm glad I did. And I went out for dinner with another friend and like chilling on the first friend's couch because she owned a yarn shop there at the time. Chilling on her couch, I would basically just like was able, oh shoot, I'm supposed to do an ender. I'm not used to that yet. Anyway, I was chilling on her couch and it like helped me just like get completely over my jet lag because I just sat there and zoned out basically for the afternoon. Because I can speak Japanese, but conversational can be difficult, and she's from the Osaka area, and so it's Osaka Ben, which is also like a different, it's not standardized Japanese, and it's a dialect basically, and so like it can be a little bit of a trip up basically. Not bad, but not easy. I am a little bit advantaged there because my exchange university was actually in halfway between Kyoto and Osaka, so there was that at least, which was good. All right, so this side should actually be a little bit faster like this, simply because, oh, I did that the wrong direction. We'll start on the other end. Simply because we don't actually have to place the tags, which like, it doesn't seem like it should take that long, but it really, really does. Anyway, yeah, that was like, that trip to Japan was like 4.5 days on the ground. It was intense. I don't recommend it necessarily. It can be done, but it is a 15-hour time difference from here, or 16. I think right now it might be 16 because we're on daylight savings time right now. It does fluctuate throughout the year. It's between 15 and 16 hours. So basically they're 16 hours ahead of us, or 15 hours. Yeah, they would be 15 hours ahead of us right now, and then when we fall back, they're 16 hours ahead of us. So I just flip it +4 or -4 and flip it usually. Or I just look at my Apple Watch because I've got the Japan time on there right now when it's not in like sleep mode. One of the handiest things about the Apple Watch is the world clock that I can just have right on my wrist. It's ridiculous. All right, there we go. I don't know, that Mario song was stuck on my head earlier this week. Or last week around this time, and I don't know why it's still stuck in my head. We're not playing any Mario games right now. And that's not even like a recent Mario game. It's like a child throwback Mario game. Don't get it. Don't get it. All right, Bobbin, don't fail me now. Just keep cranking along until the end of this row, please. Of like all of the rows. All of the cake cozies, please. I'll understand if you fail on the like sewing together of the cake cozies, but don't do it now. I do know some of these are spoken for already, so I can't say what will be available tomorrow or after the retreat exactly, but a lot of these will be available at the retreat tomorrow. I just know a few of them were like, the retreat organizers like, so if you have extras of these, and I'm like, you are organizing the retreat that I'm doing the pop-up at. You 100% can call dibs. Seems like cruel and unusual punishment to show you these photos and not to let you call dibs. Really, really. Okay. Clip these down. That is 100% a gnat. It is now a dead gnat. If you're like, Katie, are you eyeballing these? Yes. They are very gently following the seam allowance that they're supposed to, but I am 100% eyeballing them. What else am I supposed to do? I could go in and iron and mark them all, but no. That's why a lot of these are titled Creative Chaos, because it is just creative chaos. I don't know how else to break this to y'all. Oh my goodness, this one, however, is fighting. So this is one of the Dobbies, and so it's like a really thin fabric, but because, again, of that warp and weft that's a little bit slubby, it does like to fight back. It's like, I am not just anyone's like, can't just walk all over me. There we go. Not just at anyone's beck and call. There we go. That's maybe the best one there. Okay, there we go. And then sometimes they just are like, oh yeah, I got this. I know what you want me to do. Some of these have also been hanging around for quite a while, just waiting to get sewn up. Whoops. Especially the cotton linen blends, because they are some of the OG ones, because I started putting the elastic into those and decided that they would not typically make very good cake cozies, mostly because the cotton linen blend has a fairly hefty hand. It's about a medium weight fabric typically. And so the elastic in it actually doesn't work very well. So these will be the last, I think, of the cotton linen blend ones, just as a heads up. So a lot of the cotton linen prints that would have been destined for these will end up instead into key fob wristlets, which will be a lot of fun because they're nice and sturdy that way. This one needs a tag apparently. I forgot it on the other side. Did I forget it completely? I forgot it in that one. What? How did I do that? Gasp. La gasp. Okay. Come here. Come here. La gasp. I think I got the majority of the other ones, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. But that's annoying. Oh man, the sun is like still setting. What time is it? Yeah, 20 to 10, and the sun is still going down. Man, oh right, throw that. Put the tag in, Katie. We're literally just pulling them apart to do that. Do I? Oh, I do have a seam ripper here. Okay, good. I'm pretty sure I put the seam ripper right here because the seam ripper is a sewist's best friend, right? As annoying as it is. There, we don't even have to go back that far. I can throw the needle down right about there. Disappointed. And it can go right there. It's not even like it just had to be a little bit further back from the edge so that we don't catch it in the actual sewing of the like elastic together. Okay, this one has a tag. So the black cat with geometric shapes still needs a tag. So we'll do that one next. Let's seam rip it a little bit, plop it in, and then we're going to run all the elastics through these. All right. Off we go. There we go. Now I'm going to just throw it down right in the middle here somewhere, like that. Okay. Super annoying, but easy enough to fix. And hey, I didn't put it into timeout, which is like a coup. Typically, I'm like, I don't have time to seam rip. Although this is pretty easy. Not gonna lie. This is extremely easy. I think we're just gonna run another seam. Because why not? This will be like the seam that the bobbin actually runs out on or something stupid. There. We're good. We're good. The bobbin's still there. Yay, I did not do the ender. Bah, I say. Just not in the habit yet. Okay, there we go. Now it's ready to go for the next round. I'm going to turn the machine back off so that I don't accidentally step on the pedal and like sew something that we're not expecting. This one already has its elastic in. Okay, we can. I got this. Basically, we're gonna pull elastic, and then I'm going to go to bed. I know I could do drawstrings tonight, but no, I can't. Because I want to go to bed around 10:30 at the latest. Because Dallas just said he'll still be up around 6:30, and that actually is a good time for me to be up then too, because that'll give me a lot of time to like pack the Jeep and. Well, I'll take the Jeep apart because I gotta take the car seats out, pack the Jeep, and then I can do some of the drawstrings tomorrow morning. That's not a big deal. Drawstrings and tagging, I guess. And shower so that my hair is nice and curly tomorrow. Because it always looks best right after I've cleaned, like showered it, and actually put the proper care into it. Alrighty, there and there. Oh, so getting ready for bed anyway. Okay. These look a lot smaller than these ones. What is up? Because they are slightly smaller. They're actually about a 1/2 inch smaller. I was probably a little bit more meticulous about my hems with those ones actually, but that's okay. I think the thinner hems will actually work to our advantage. It's not going to work to our disadvantage, I don't think. Hope not. All right, we need this, and we also need the big old bin of clips. One more. And apparently a couple extra that fell on the floor. Okay. Probably gonna need more than that, but we'll start there. Okay, I'm pretty sure I already pre-stretched this, but we're gonna just do it again just in case. And then how this works is, we're gonna move the light over here a bit better. Cut them in half, and then I have what is basically a rug latch hook. I don't know if anyone's done rug latch. Specifically, it looks like a crochet hook with a little like clasp on it. I find this the easiest way to pull my elastic through here. If you have a safety pin and that is all you have and all you can afford, go for it. This is a business tool. That does not make it better, it just makes it easier for me. And also these are fairly inexpensive. I think I saw like a pack of 3 or something like that on Amazon the other day for like $10. They do make this a lot faster, and it does mean that I can have a thinner hem than I previously did, because this is nowhere near like thick as a safety pin. Plus, if you drop it halfway through, you can kind of dig around with the hook and pull it. I also find that it doesn't tend to drop the elastic as much as like a bodkin or one of those ones that has like the metal loop on the end that you could like tighten down with a bead. I find that this one does tend to just grasp onto it a lot better. Go. So I clip it at both ends with the clips. I find that the clips, I don't work with a lot of pins anymore unless I absolutely need to, mostly so that I don't cause as much bleeding anymore. There's not a lot of sweat, well, there's quite a bit of sweat. There's not a lot of tears involved with this work, but there is definitely a lot of blood and sweat before the clips. Sweat mostly because it's like standing in the middle of a studio ironing in August. Blood because of the bloody pins, literally, some days. Anyway, we use a lot more clips in this studio than we used to. I still do have to use pins on occasion. They still have their uses, but if I can avoid them, I will. Alright, so now we're going to just pull this through. Again, these are for the cake cozies. They go around your cake of yarn after you've like balled up your skein or whatever on a cake winder. You could use it for a hand wound ball, I think, as well. I don't see why not, if that's what you use instead. And it's just going to help keep those ends contained so that it's not unraveling. You can work from the interior and exterior of the cake. I don't know about a ball like one of the commercial balls, but you definitely can from a cake. I've tested it. This cake cozy will hold a fingering weight or sock yarn weight skein cake, and I'm currently working on prototyping a worsted weight skein cake as well. You can fit a DK weight skein in here, but it is a tight fit to begin with, but it can be done. But yeah, I'm working on a worsted weight prototype right now. That's going to be going to a friend tomorrow so she can prototype it for me. She's the one who requested it, so she gets to prototype it. Like, I don't even have any worsted caked up right now, so here you go. You can take it. It's wild because it's like the measurements aren't that much different, but I think the big thing of why her worsted cakes weren't fitting is because of the height of the cake cozy more than the like diameter of it or circumference of it. All right, a little bit too far. Let's back that up a little bit. Right on the edge. Okay, there we go. There. And we'll let some back in. I do leave some extra elastic on either end so that like if there's a little bit of slippage when I put the clip on or something else, even when I'm sewing it, it has a little bit of wiggle room that's just not, it's not going to just be slurped back up into the casing basically. I keep calling them hems, but they're actually casings. And why I was calling them hems is because I was actually using a hem foot on the machine when I first started making these before I had the serger. And then I got the serger and it changed the whole process and made it far easier to produce the cake cozies. So I'll take it. I like it. There we go. Pull it through this side. Make sure it's not like super twisted. I think it got untwisted there. Good. Release some back in, and then I just have to make sure that the clip is far enough away that we can actually sew this and it'll be happy. So far so good. It's one of the slower processes for this section of it. Besides, I think this is probably the second slowest after the like decision making and actual like cutting of the scraps to figure out what I'm actually going to be doing with any of this. So working with scraps is not for the faint of heart, because it's like, A, you got to figure out what you can actually make with them, and then B, you got to figure out what is the lowest size you want to keep. Like, what's the smallest size of scrap you want to keep? I have definitely kept scraps that I will not use for multiple reasons. A lot of my tiny offcuts and stuff now actually go to a friend who makes amigurumi, and she uses it for stuffing for them, which is super cool. But I've also inundated her with like a lot of the plain fabric scraps, so the lining fabrics and the pocket scraps and stuff, not Japanese fabric. So she's at her limit right now, or at least she was at the beginning of the summer. She crochets a lot though, so I'll find out if she needs more here coming up. It's not like it's like I'm in a rush to get it out of the house. So cat hair, surprise. Yeah, so all the elastics will get pulled on this. And then we will sew the ends, and I trim down the excess elastic from the seams. And then they are, just turn them and they're good to go. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 more to go. It's not too bad, not too shabby. I don't know how many we've done. Probably close to 20 at the end of this all. Okay. Now the other thing I should mention is that I do have stockists for products. Actually Ancient Arts Yarns in Calgary, Market Spot as well in Calgary in Market Mall, and then Bad Anna's and Bad Rabbit, both in East Vancouver, and I think Bad Rabbit is in New Westminster, but down on the Lower Mainland. They all have different selections of bags because I am working in very small quantities of fabric overall, like within 2 to 3 meters typically. So really there's not many bags you can make with 2 to 3 meters all the time. But that is one of the things. It's like I don't work with wholesale amounts, so we're not buying the like massive 10 to 15 bolt, like meter bolts. I am limited to basically what I can carry home in my suitcase, actually, is how this goes when I actually do a shopping trip. So if you're interested in like the finer details of that, I've got a couple videos on the YouTube channel, both about fabric shopping in Japan, or not Japan as a whole, but fabric shopping in Tokyo and fabric shopping in Kyoto. Specifically at Tomato and Nomura Tailor, since those are the two main suppliers that I go to. Although that was the nice thing about the solo trip, is I was actually able to go see a lot more of the other stores in the Nippori textile town. So like I got to see different fabrics that weren't necessarily carried by Tomato or Nomura, or like they had run out of stock. Different suppliers. There was like an artist co-op at the end of the street that was really cool. So I definitely got to do more exploration that way again next time I go as well. I like how there's a candy cane on the Halloween print. I have had this for years and I just saw that, but there's totally a candy cane right there against the gravestone. All right then. Around and around and through and through. Get all this elastic pulled and sewn, and then it's definitely bedtime. I can tell my monologuing is petering out here. Again, I do go ahead and ask any questions in the chat. Typically happy to answer, or at least have the monologue kind of directed, so especially if you're tired of listening to the same stories. And if you're not, well, you're welcome to them. But yeah, this will definitely be wrapping up around 10:30 because I think we'll have the work done by that point, which will be good. Done, done, done. I'll still also contemplate. I'm like, I've got 12 feet of space tomorrow, so I think what I'll do, they're providing a table that's going to be in the middle, and I'll pop it in the middle. It's a 6-foot table. And then I've got a 34-inch shelf. Ooh, it might be tight. I was like, I'll bring some grid wall, but no, I will bring the handbag rack and I'll bring the shelf. because those honestly are going to fill the space the best and be the best use of space, because then I can put the Kato on the shelf. I can put the tote bags and some large box bags on the handbag shelf, and then a bunch of the table stuff can go on the table. So like eyeglass case or glasses cases and bookmarks and notions pouches and all the small bits and bobs can go on the table. Yeah, I think that's going to be the most efficient setup, at least. We'll see. I'll probably change as soon as I get there. I always talk about like how I'm going to set stuff up, and then it's like I get there and it ends up being a completely different setup. I'm sure it drives people who set up with me a little bit around the bend, but it's like, even if it's the exact same space as I've had before, the thing is that I'm usually trying to make new products for shows, so this like the display design is always going to change because of that, and you want it to change too because it creates a more visual variety for your customers anyway. So like you might highlight something that they might have missed at a different show, especially this year for me, because it's like I'm doing so many shows in Calgary that I don't want the focal point to always be the same, because there is such a thing as customer fatigue. So also, if you've been watching for a while and you're like, Katie, where's the reversible drawstring bags? They are behind me on the ironing board right now. They were intended to be ironed and done Monday and Wednesday. Monday, the youngest one stayed home. And Wednesday, there was no way I should be operating. I could not operate heavy equipment on Monday or Wednesday. So, hell, I couldn't operate my own body. It was like, literally, we came home from their year-end party. Dallas took them back to school. And I like passed right out for a good 3 hours or something like that. And I was like super worried I wasn't going to actually sleep on Wednesday night. And then it was like, I still went to bed and passed out for like, well, the kids are usually up around 6:37, I guess. So it's probably another 10 hours. It's the main reason I probably ended up not feeling too bad on Thursday, at least. So for most of the day. And then last night it was like, haha, joke's on you. We had been planning to go for a nice dinner, and now I'm like, but Dallas didn't make the reservations, and now I'm really glad we hadn't had dinner reservations or something last night, because holy, I wouldn't have made it through it. Heck, I didn't even eat any dinner last night. I like had an applesauce before bed, just so I didn't end up with like the nausea or the like empty stomach ache on top of the nausea. And somehow around like 9:30, 10 o'clock, it was just like completely 100% I was better. I was like, what is going on? It was so weird, because I swear like an hour before that I was like, okay, I'm going to lose the applesauce even that I ate. And that is why I don't like stomach bugs. At least head colds are a little bit more predictable sometimes. Maybe. At least my head colds are. All right. There we go. Pull it through the rest of the way here. And then clip it here. All right, I was over ambitious in the clips, but it's always better to have more clips than not enough clips. So it's good. 10 o'clock. Sweet. We're almost there. Eek. Ow. Oh, I'm lucky. All right, that is a good argument for wearing proper jeans down here, even in the summertime. Not just shorts. All right. Getting it done. Getting it done. Not very many left now. All right. Stick latch hook through first, then elastic on latch hook. I keep going to put the elastic on before I put the like hook through the casing, and that doesn't work. Needs to be hooked on after I shove the hook through the casing. My body is like, you need to go do some exercise. And I'm like, we are still trying to rehydrate. Dallas is like, are you going for a run close to home this morning? I'm like, no. We're going to give myself enough time to recover this time. I usually do. I usually overdo the recovery. But it's better to lose the training right now than it is to like lose the training in like, lose 2 weeks. Better to lose like 3 to 4 days of training than it is to lose a week of training or 2 weeks of training because I don't recover properly or I make myself more sick. So I'm talking about, I run. Small R runner. I'm a runner. It's like not something that I do because I absolutely adore it. It is something that I do because I don't hate it completely. Do I know why I'm doing it? Health? I'll say, well, no. I'm doing it for the beer and the bling at the end of the races. And I sign myself up for races so that I continue to run and not completely hate it. Anyway, I just did a half in May and did the rest and recovery period, and now I'm into the half training for Canmore, which is in September. But of course, with Puke Fest 2024, I am not training right now, but my body is definitely like, all right, it's time to go, mentally and like kind of physically as well. Monday, I'll go for a run on Monday, as long as I am feeling better. And like get a couple good nights of sleep and stuff like that. That'll be good too. All right. So the only thing I will say is that it is kind of pulling in that very edge on this end when I like pull the elastic in. But out of all the things, very small details. Just have to kind of pick it out a little bit just so it's not quite so like, well, it's just so it's also sewn correctly, basically. There we go. Little musician cats. There's like 4 after this, I think. So we're not. Just about there. Just about there. Just about there. Almost there. Almost there. Anyway, yeah, so it's like we got the half in Canmore in September, and then I'm going into a full, just like, basically I'm going to go into a cross-train period. So right before the half in Calgary in May, I did like a 30-day challenge at the spin studio that I go to. They do like 30 classes in 30 days. So it was like yoga, spin, and yeah, I did yoga and spin. But they also offer Pilates, and I'm like, I think I should go try Pilates maybe. I need to add, like, I really enjoy yoga, but I do need to add some more strengthening stuff in. I am going to start going to the gym. That's part of what this cross training is going to do. I'm going to go to the gym over the summer and stuff like that for weightlifting. But it's like really focus in on honing it during this cross training period. Because the goal is that I want a sub 5 marathon eventually. Well, I want a sub 5 marathon by 2026. Even like next year would be amazing. because I want to run Kyoto Marathon, and its cutoff time is 6 hours. So I want to run a sub 5 because that will give me a massive buffer. Now I did run the Dopey Challenge in January at Disney World. And it was a 6:45:17, I think was the time on that. So that wasn't bad. Because basically I was aiming for sub 7 and I got it. So I'll take it. That was a run, walk, or like a walk. Yeah, run, walk, run intervals. We did 30:30 for the first little bit, which would have put us at a 6:15 pace. But honestly, we lost half an hour using porta potties. Because of course, when you're running for 6 hours, I needed to pee. Heck, I needed to pee on the half marathon, which is about right. About around mile 9. But it was also like cold and so miserable at the half marathon in Calgary this year. It was like nuts. It was like, ugh, so bad. The wind was all getting funneled downtown, and it was like raining, so it was like blowing in your face, and there's like rain in your face, and it was a super miserable experience. And I still got sub 3. That was the goal for Calgary. My goal for the half in Canmore is to match the same time or just beat it. Mostly because Canmore's got some nasty hills in the back apparently. So, well, not nasty, but like it's got some elevation change and it's at the halfway point. So it's like, of course it would be. Canmore. But Calgary being sub 3 is a massive improvement over my first marathon or half, which was in Fernie last October. And it was 3 hours and 20 minutes. And I did technically also PB my half at Disney, but it wasn't the official half marathon time because it was during the full marathon, because the half marathon at Dopey this year was a half of a half. They gave us 7 miles because the weather just took a nasty turn, and they made the call to be like, nope, you're going to do 7 or 7.1 miles or whatever it was, and you're turning around and coming back. That morning really sucked because like most people sign up to do the half marathon. It's a really popular length, as it seems to be at most races. It's a really popular length because it's kind of like that intermediate between, obviously, right between 10K and the half marathon. But words and numbers. Why a lot of people sign up for it at Disney. That's what it is. Disney World is because you get to run through the Magic Kingdom. So you get to run through the castle and everything without having to commit to the full marathon. So yeah, so that was like, I had considered only signing up for the half marathon instead of doing the whole Dopey challenge. Actually, the one that I had considered signing up for was the Goofy challenge, which I'm very glad I didn't, because the Goofy challenge is just the half and the full. I would have been really pissed off with myself if I hadn't done the 5 and the 10K, because honestly, those were probably the more, like, out of all 4 races, those were probably the most fun, because we took a little bit more time, and we took photos with characters and all of that. But yeah, if I'd only signed up for the half marathon, being like, oh yeah, I'll be able to run through the castle and everything like that, I would have been extremely disappointed, and you could tell there's a lot of people extremely disappointed, and I don't blame them. The energy that morning was just sad, because it's like, oh. Now, they made an extremely good call. It's an extremely hard call. And I'm glad that they made it. Because obviously it's not just the runners that they have to get off the course. It's like all of the support crew has to get off the course within the time limit that they have as well. So, anyway, long story short, when we went and ran the half, we had the 6:45, but the timing on my half marathon there was actually 3:10. So the end goal is for this all right now is I want a 2.5 hour half, because that's when you start being able to move up corrals for the Disney races. So like a sub 2.5 would be amazing, like a 2:20, 2:25 even. I think a 2:22 is what they typically say will predict about a 5-hour marathon. So 2:20 to 2.5 hours, because the faster you are, the higher you get put in the corrals too. And the only reason I want that is so that when we do go run them, we're not running Disney to PB, which is personal best. Get like personal bests, but we are running Disney to go meet the characters. So it's like next time we'll probably just sprint between characters, and then the like line to wait for the character will be the rest period. Yeah, and then the end goal for the marathon is 5 hours or sub 5 hours, so that I can go run Kyoto in sub 6. So the way that we're going to try and achieve that goal is this year I'm training up for this next half marathon. So I've got a 10K, as long as I'm feeling good, next 2 weeks from now. And then all the elastics are in, so we're going to go through and sew these now. Anyway, 10K in 2 weeks. Then I got the half marathon training, and then I've got a 10 miler, which is like 16 kilometers in September with the, it's called the Wild Run with the zoo. So that's super fun. And then I'm going to be going into my cross train season and like focus on swimming and weight training and yoga and Pilates and spin and like all of this other stuff up until the point I need to start training for Calgary half again, which is like end of January. So it'll give me a nice long period to like, I'll do like very, very, very short runs. The focus will be more on the other like exercises, but I'll do the very short runs just to like, because otherwise when you get back into running, your body just is like revolts against it. So, and when I'm talking like very short runs, I'm talking like I will go and run a kilometer or like 2 kilometers or maybe like a 5K once in a while. Nothing insane. Just enough to keep my body aware that this is eventually what we're returning to, I guess. The joys. Plus I really like swimming and stuff like that, so I'm actually really excited to do like a winter worth of swimming and things. And honestly, it is the best season for me to do it because I will run on the treadmill if I have to, or like it is the most convenient way for me to get my run in for the day. But I saw a reel about it from someone, and it's like, what kind of cardio am I going to do today? And they called it the treadmill, and that is like head of the nail, exactly what it is. The only benefit, I guess, to it is that I get to watch TV when I'm on the treadmill, which I cannot do when I'm running outside. But yeah, the plan for next year after that then is like, so I'll train for the half in Calgary. That's going to already improve my like speed and endurance significantly. And then there's a half marathon a full marathon in Victoria over Thanksgiving weekend. So I'm going to train for that and run that next October, so 25. And that's going to give me a pretty good idea of what I should be able to do at Kyoto. And then I'll still have one more training, like basically full marathon training session in between Victoria and Kyoto by that point, because that's about, so what's October? It's about 4 months out. And usually for my level of running, which is novice, barely, kind of, barely, it's like 4 to 5 months is a good amount of time. Usually it's about 20 weeks. So, you know, just go run a marathon and then start marathon training again. It is going to, the main reason that I wanted to train for Victoria Marathon to get another marathon training cycle in is because the majority of that training will happen over the summer. All of that training will happen over the summer, and thus I should avoid the majority of the plagues. Obviously that is not true completely. Oh, this one is really far off. Okay, we're going to do a little pleat in the middle here because, no, I'm going to redo that one. Okay, out of here. Bye, polar bears. Anyway, yeah, like I want to do a full summer training program. All of that training should basically be like half marathon, and then I go into marathon training from Calgary, so that's good. And then I should avoid the majority of the plagues, because that is like one of the big drawbacks to winter training, is that the kids do bring home a lot more sicknesses during the winter time. Cat problems. Seriously, it's like I'm privileged enough that my body can run, and it's not something that I absolutely, like I said, hate. So are there other forms of exercise that I prefer? Yes. Is running one of the easier ones to access with children, however? Also yes, that's the part of it. Because it's like I can drop them off at school and I can go for my run right away, and it's like, I guess by access I mean like least disruptive to my lifestyle currently. Yes. I don't have to wait for a time for a class, and I don't have to like get wet and shower afterwards, or like there's like a multitude of different reasons. So and my husband's a runner, so we do have a treadmill. So like the investment in a treadmill for 2 people is a lot easier to spread out than 1 person. This one is also really off. All right. It's like, so I'm okay with the hems if they don't, or the casings if they don't match up completely, but those were off by like a good ½ inch on each side. So that's not gonna fly tonight. I don't know how I'll fix that. Probably just means that I gotta go back in and actually like sew the, take out the casing on one side and match them back up. But still annoying. Anyway, but yeah, I'm also like, I'm already excited about the cross-training plan of basically taking the winter mostly off. Like, yes. We'll get a break. Because it's like, we started training for Dopey this time last year, and it's like, then we ran Dopey in January, and then we had a couple weeks off, and then Dal started training for like a race marathon for him in May, and I started training for the half marathon. So it's been a long year of training, and there's still a few more months to go. Like 3 more months. God. Yeah, no. But the thing about it is that I also now know that I'm like very physically capable of doing the half marathon. It is very much a mental game. And I think that's the thing for a lot of people too, is it's a mental game of like getting yourself through that distance. That totally is not sewing through that layer. I don't get it. All right. You need to behave yourself. Please. Please just sew. It's definitely tacked down, so I'm going to start. There we go. Start a little bit later now, because apparently it doesn't have any respect. No. This is also part of why we're not sewing any more cotton linen blend cake cozies. They're just, I forgot about how difficult it is to do that many. Like, they're thicker fabrics, and then you sew through 2 layers of that along with the elastic. Not fun. Okay. This one's a little bit off, but that's okay. Okay, and it's perfectly happy with this one. I don't get it. I just work with sewing machines. That doesn't mean I understand them. And the bobbin totally ran out on the purple one. Bah. Bah, I say. All right. There's a stack of them. I have another bobbin wound, and then we'll pop. I guess for how many I have left tonight, I'm not going to start winding the next bobbin. We will start that when I sit down next time to start sewing. Heresy, I know, but that's just how tonight's going to roll. This will be lots of time to wind one. It's not like we're going to use that much thread right now. All right. I'm going to throw a leader underneath. And we're going to put this one back under and hopefully get it sewn. Let's see if it works this time. Well, it should. There's no reason it should. We shouldn't run out of bobbin thread as soon as I've just changed the bobbin. No, we're good. Okay, 3 more. And then we just need to do the trim down, turn, and we are done. And that is what we're going to get finished for the retreat tomorrow. I am extremely pleased, to be honest. It's what, like 35 Kato and about 50 new cake cozies. So that's, like I said, given that the majority, this work was supposed to be split over 2 days, I'm very happy. Okay, 2 more. Yes, I still have to do the drawstrings. I'll do drawstrings in the morning because I'm still going to be up early tomorrow. That's part of why I want to call it quits by about 10:30 tonight, because I want to go to bed so I can be awake tomorrow to see Dallas and the kids off, and then have the time to like actually do my stuff as well, i.e. pack the Jeep. Prep and pack. All right, where is the thread bunny on this end? Here it is. Yay! We've done it again. We're ready for another show. Holy. All right. And yes, I will take the key fobs and I'll actually do the key fob hardware installation tomorrow. I need to do a little setup of like stuff because there was a couple pickup orders that I need to make sure come with me as well, because there was some out-of-town guests that pre-ordered. Basically what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go in and clip the chain piece, and then which is the little threads between each of these, and then I'm just going to chuck the clips in the bin like that. The bin is just off to my side here. Make sure that this is like trimmed down as well. So the whole point of chain piecing is that it uses far less thread, which it does, because rather than pulling out like this much thread every time I start or finish, so that's a good, one piece is like over 15 inches. There is about a generous 1/4 inch, maybe 3/8 of an inch. It's like a centimeter worth of thread between each of these pieces. Yeah, so a lot of thread saving and a lot of time saving, to be honest, as well. So that's why I'm excited to finally, I don't know why I didn't clue into doing that with the enders and leaders before for like thread savings, but you know, sometimes it just doesn't quite click in until you have someone else point it out. And that's what happens. Now, do you sometimes end up with annoying little bunny ears? Yes, but the way I solve that is that if they're super noticeable, I actually just take a lighter to them. Most of the time, they mostly just like blend in with the rest of the thread. So no, not typically too worried about it. Hey Delia, what's up? She's like, oh God, there's clips falling on my head. You're the one who stuck your head in the clip bin. Dahlia is a cat, not a child. She's my little black cat. She's about 11 years old, we think now. She was a rescue, so we don't actually know exactly. But the best guess that when we got her was that she was 2-ish. And we've had her for over 9 years now. Actually, 9 years as of 2 days ago. Because we got her and another cat right after we moved into our first house. And, yeah. The other cat, unfortunately, passed away. Just over a couple years ago now. But he was definitely the best cat. I really like these two cats. So we've got Dahlia and we've got Flynn, who is the orange Ouija. I still love them, but they are not best cats. They are definitely just, not just, but they're definitely cats. You know, aloof and on their own terms, whereas Remy was like the little gray cat that we adopted with this one was like a cuddler, and he liked being around us, and just, he was a good cat. And he was going to be like best friends with our eldest if he had been around longer, but yeah, he passed very suddenly back in like March of 2022. Like, and when I mean suddenly, I mean I picked him up and he like had a heart attack or something like that. We're not 100% sure. I didn't do an autopsy, but it was very, very sudden. Poor little guy. All right, enough depressing talk. Let's get these clipped up. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim down the little bit of elastic that may be hanging out of the seam allowance here. And then we turn the cake cozy. And the cake cozy is done. All done. So that's what goes over the yarn cake and holds all the ends in for you. They are machine washable. You typically with the project bags, if they don't have leather, they are machine washable. I usually do suggest air drying the like bags because they have interfacing in them, and interfacing and bag like dryers do not mix. These, however, if you threw them in a laundry bag and threw them in the dryer, you'd be perfectly fine. I would not suggest throwing them into the washing machine and the dryer without a laundry bag because there is a high potential for them to like get eaten by the washer or dryer. Okay, some of these do need a little bit of TLC. That's kind of what we're double checking as well, is to make sure that basically it got caught on both sides. In this case, it did on the midsection. It did not on the casing section. Yay. And I just messed up my own system of thread bunnies because, you know, why would I follow my own rules? There we go. Okay, but that is what we're also double checking, is just to make sure that like that is the casing is all set and everything like that. Oh, that one is tight. Okay, there we go. A little bit better once it's actually distributed correctly. All right, this one doesn't really have any elastic sticking out, so there's the Inari's messengers. Anyone who tells you that Inari, who is a kami of Japan, is the fox, is wrong. The fox is his communication animal. It's also like the kitsune, so it's like these ones are the kitsune, I think. No, they're just foxes. Never mind. Although kitsune can be like the trickster gods, but that is Inari's messenger. That's why he's carrying gifts, and there's tori and everything like that. So when you hear Fushimi Inari, which is one of the like it is the super famous temple with all the tori gates, which are the orange and red, or the orange gates, kind of that scarlet color. It's a very Japanese color. I don't see it outside Japan. And you hear someone talking about the Fushimi Inari Taisha. That is a business success shrine, and it's all dedicated to Inari, who is not a fox, who is a deity and uses foxes as his like messengers. It is easy to confuse though, because there's like foxes all over the shrine ground, so it's like, are you sure? It's like, yes. But are you? Yes, don't worry. It was something they drilled into our head in like, what was it, Japanese religion class or whatever it was. No, the elastic, did it get caught? Oh, it did. Yeah, okay, sorry, it just didn't feel like it did. Phew, I'm like, it's not snapping, like it didn't snap out, so what the heck is going on? Oh, that one's adorable. I like how that print is actually running top to bottom on the cake cozy. Super cute. Yes, after this, I'm going to gather up the couple of orders for pickup that I have, and I'm going to put them on the sewing table with the cake cozies. I'm going to grab all the other miscellaneous stuff that kind of has to be gathered up tomorrow. Actually, I should clear out the width bin and put it all in the width bin, because then, yeah, because then I can just grab that box and we're good. That's what I'll do. Okay, that one needs to be restitched. Just, again, same thing. Casings didn't quite get caught on both sides. Blend it in with the other seam, or just inside of it. There we go. And then run another thread bunny underneath it. Hey, I remembered this time. Yeah, okay. Clip. Clip. And clip the elastics. Super bright little sheep. So cute. Trim. 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 Flip. Shuffle. Shuffle. Good. And then the dogs, which apparently I caught the elastic when I was sewing it, so you know, double protection seam, I guess. We're gonna run a little bit more over that one, just because it's like right on that edge of being not caught, and that's not cool. There we go. That's better. Thread bunny. Sure, I should cut this one down so I don't have to sew over quite so much. I'm gonna use it. Yeah, this one's cute too because the dogs are running to elastic edge to elastic edge. It's pretty awesome. That one's caught on both sides. Trim it down. Trim it down. Trim it. Good. Trim it down here. Last one, and we're done. All right, and right on pretty much bedtime. 5 minutes over, whatever, not a big deal. All right, so if you're in the Calgary area, I will be at a crochet retreat tomorrow. The market is open to the public from 2 to 4, and it is at 520 27th Ave Northeast, I think. I don't know the name of the community center, so let me just look. Yeah, 520 27th Ave Northeast, Winston Heights, Mountview. It's the community center there. And yeah, the market is open to the public from 2 to 4. So I will see you all there tomorrow if you're in the Calgary area. If you're not able to make that one, the next one that I will be at will be July 13th, as stated on the bios there, Ancient Arts Yarns Pancake Breakfast for Stampede. And then if you are out of town but still desiring something, you can always message me on Instagram. That is the best way to get a hold of me. Or I will be doing a shop update around July 25th, towards the end of July. And the best way to find out about that is actually to sign up for the newsletter through the website. So I hope you guys all have a absolutely amazing night, and I will chat with you again on Wednesday next week, as long as things don't go sideways again. Watch for me on Instagram or subscribe to me on YouTube, and that'll tell you when I come online. I'll chat with you all soon though. Bye.